Greetings, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. Recently, I was going through some video recommendations made by some patrons and happened upon this one video by Sky News Australia. And then I was like, oh my god, I hate it here. So obviously, inflicted more torture upon myself by forcing myself to go to their channel and watch Australian bigotry. My two favorite things, conservatives and Australians. I promised myself I wouldn't make Australia jokes. I can't do it. You cannot get me, a Kiwi, to sit here and talk about Australians without joking about hating Australia. It's impossible. I'm sorry. Anyway, I subjected myself to sitting and listening to thick Australian accents talking about ridiculous things. And I'm going to share that with you today. And I will try my absolute best to not talk about hating Australia. I promise. Anyway, massive thank you to today's patron of the day, Sage. Thank you for sending through some video recommendations. I would not have stumbled upon this without your help, so thank you. Yeah, so the video specifically that I want to watch today is Sky News Australia host reacts to lefties losing it. And it's honestly one of the most absurd videos I've seen. I just want to say that Sky News Australia uploads over 100 times every single day. Like, it's actually ridiculous. I'm like baffled. I wasn't expecting this. I don't know what I was expecting to come out of Australia. But like, you know what? It's not that. it's not that surprising. We don't call Australia just bigoted New Zealand for nothing. We're gonna watch this video. We're gonna talk about this video. I will try my best to not talk about them being Australian. Starting from now. It's unimportant. From now. I also just want to put a quick disclaimer here about just insulting Australians and bullying Australians because people get mad at me every single time. And I shouldn't have to put this disclaimer, but I'm going to put this disclaimer. I am a Kiwi, as in someone from New Zealand, right? We have a rivalry with Australia. It is a sibling rivalry. It goes one way. Australians apparently are not entirely aware that we constantly rag on them all the time, but they're like a big sibling, right? Even down to like in Parliament, they talk about how we have to be better than Australians and everything, and all of our jokes are just fuck Australia. That's our humor, okay? We don't have much, but we do have hating Australia. So it's all in good jest. I actually love Australia. I really, really love Australia, but I hate Australia and Australians, you know? You get it.
You can get into all sorts of trouble if you accidentally misgender a trans person, but you can also insult them when you get it right.
This person just came into the bar and said, hey, what are your pronouns? You kind of look like a they, them. And I hated that they were right.
Same though. Like, same. It's like, you kind of look queer. I'm like, thank you, but also, how dare you? When I see like depictions of like feminists and queer people, they look exactly like me all the time. It's always the fringe, the dyed hair, the double nostril piercings, tattoos in the same exact places, and I'm like, that's literally me. That's literally just a drawing of me that they did. And I hate that they're right. I hate that I am the stereotype because I'm an individual, you know? I am unique, but I'm not, but I am. So I'm always just like targeted. It's like the first time I went to a fucking Five Stars concert. You know, I'm 15 and I'm the only person at my school with dyed hair. I have my blue and pink hair. No one else at school has that. I've got more piercings than anyone else. I've got my nose pierced. I've got a bunch of ear piercings. I've got my blue and pink hair. And I'm like, I'm an individual. I'm unique. I go to a Five Stars concert and half the people there have blue hair and piercings. And I'm like, I am not different. I am the same. I have an individuality complex, and a lot of queer people have individuality complexes. It's like, I don't actually care, but it's like always like, oh, I am not different. Going to like a Halsey concert, it's like, oh no, we are all the same. Okay, great. I haven't seen the full TikTok, but I'm assuming it is in the sense of like oh, I can't believe I fit into this fucking stereotype and everyone knows. It's like, it's like, you kind of look like a they, them. It's like, yeah, I hate that you're right. I hate that I boxed myself like this. I hate that I fit all the correct stereotypes. My name on Twitter is literally Queeriotype because like I am literally just a walking stereotype. I have a whole video about that on my second channel, I think. Or is it on this channel? I don't know. But it's annoying, but very funny.
Do we need to keep acknowledging people's pronouns? Do we need to keep doing this in this situation? Is it going to come up where you refer to them as they, them? When
No, I will never refer to someone as they, them because it's just grammatically incorrect. It's ridiculous.
The first one had like a point in a sense of like, you don't ever use pronouns to someone's faces. Like you don't use pronouns directed towards someone. The only time you would use pronouns in someone's presence is if you are talking to someone else about them. You don't ever use pronouns to someone. Like you don't talk to people in the third person. It's not important for like one-on-one conversation, but it is important for like conversation later when you're talking to someone about them, or, you know, you're in a group setting and you specifically need to like mention them in third person, then it's important. But like, no, you don't ever use them to people's faces, not very regularly. So it doesn't really matter a ton to know someone's pronouns if you've only just like met them and like you're only gonna meet them the one time. Like it's not hugely important. But then going into, I will never use they, them for a singular person because it's not grammatically correct. That's just wrong. Singular they, them has been used for like forever. Someone like forgets their wallet and you're like, someone left their wallet behind, you know?
If someone is born male and they transition, they say, can you call me a female? Then I'm happy to do that. But even that, I think, should not be compelled speech. That should be something that you do. You shouldn't be forced to participate in that at the risk of, being charged or being called a bigot or, having been called into HR.
Then just do it. If you're not, you're disrespecting someone and their wishes and their ability to like identify how they wish to. Like, it's not hard. It's like, I don't think you should be punished for not doing it. Well, if you just did it in the first place, then that wouldn't be an issue, would it? I don't think I should have to go to HR for misgendering someone. Well, you wouldn't have to if you just correctly gendered them. So that's the solution, is just correctly gender people, and then you won't have to face the consequences of misgendering them. Like, that's why they're there. So just use the right pronouns, and then then everyone's fine. I think that I should be able to misgender someone and not get in any trouble with it, because it hurts me. If I get in trouble for misgendering someone, then why do I have to face consequences? I don't know, because maybe misgendering someone hurts someone else, and so you deserve to face consequences for hurting other people. Like, this isn't about you. It's literally not about you. It's about how your actions affect other people. If you're negatively affecting other people, there's consequences to that. So just don't do it, and then there won't be consequences. It's like really, really simple. It's really simple.
Let's talk a little bit about Dylan Mulvaney. He's the one who single-handedly destroyed Bud Light's image and cost its parent company billions. Well, they want misgendering to be illegal. I just said they.
Oh, that is such a good fuck up. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. So not only can you use they, them singularly, you just proved that you can and that you do. So good job. You also said just before, if someone wants to go from male to female or female to male, you're happy to oblige and use those correct pronouns, and yet you didn't. So you've already told, like, we're a minute and a half in the video, and you've already contradicted yourself like 3 separate times. Get it together, man.
Articles written about me using he pronouns and calling me a man over and over again. And I feel like that should be illegal. I don't know. That's just bad journalism.
Yeah, you shouldn't be misrepresenting someone in your journalism, in your articles, because that is false, and you aren't meant to be able to publish false information. And so misrepresenting and misidentifying someone, that's false information. That's spreading false information. So,
well, there you go. Said in such a gentle, friendly manner, but the message is quite sinister, that if someone misgenders him, according to him, then that should be illegal. That means the cops show up to you.
Then what happens?
You're charged.
What, charged,
You go to
fined?
court.
You go to jail?
Fined. Maybe you go to jail.
I would presume like a warning, a fine, community service, whatever. Because like if you are constantly misrepresenting someone to the media, to the wider public, because this is the thing, is that they're publishing these in like public places. And if you are like doing something that is actively harming people and you are reaching that to thousands, millions of people, then that is expanding the amount of people who are going to be, you know, harming this person. So you are causing a lot of harm on someone, and there are consequences for harming someone. These people just like live in their own sort of thing. They're like, why do I have to face consequences for my actions? All I'm doing is what I believe in. I'm like, what you believe in is hurting someone. And you shouldn't be able to hurt someone. There should be consequences for hurting someone. It's not about like, but I don't want to get punished. Well, they don't want to be misgendered. So why are you more important there? Thousands and millions of people misgendering one person hurts them so much. Whereas you getting like a slap on the wrist or paying a fine for misgendering them hurts you a little bit. And you don't even have to be hurt by that because you could just not do it. That's the thing. That's the whole point. The point of if it was a law would be to stop people from doing the thing that harms people. You using the right pronouns doesn't harm you in any way. You using the wrong pronouns does harm someone. You see how one is good and one is bad? Like you are physically able to make the shape with your mouth and the sound come out of your mouth that is she. You choose not to because you want to hurt that person. That is bad. You shouldn't hurt people. I feel like we learned this when we were like 3, you know? Don't hurt people. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. If you can't gender someone correctly, don't talk about them or talk to them. Like keep it to yourself. You shouldn't hurt people. That's literally, it's really not hard.
Now, I suspect this flight attendant is definitely a lefty, given her absurd behaviour. Look at the way this flighty loses it.
It wasn't until all the passengers had taken their seats that she saw it, right in the center of the aisle.
I didn't see it happen, but apparently one of the last passengers to board spilled a large amount of what looked like some sort of Asian fried rice situation. And the flight attendant was really, really mad about it.
Mad enough to keep everyone grounded.
This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen because nowhere, anywhere in this report did it mention politics. Nowhere. You don't know her political beliefs. You don't know shit. And you're just like, she had a fit, so she must be a lefty. So I'm going to talk about it on this segment of fucking Sky News called Lefties Losing It. But you don't know her political views. You don't know shit. This cannot be a part of this segment. Did you really just not have enough footage? Did you not have enough stories to cover? So you just like went and found literally anything? That's so funny. I'm going to assume that this is a conservative woman because that fits my narrative better. So,
Rita, I think she's in the wrong job. I think she should be a school teacher. She's going crazy there. I mean, seriously, just sweep up the rice and move on. How ridiculous. Imagine paying for that flight and sitting there because she's carrying on like a pork chop.
I don't think she should be a school I don't think someone making everyone sit and wait on a plane and yelling at everyone would make a good teacher. I understand that there are a lot of teachers who do that. I've had teachers like that, but they weren't good at their jobs. I don't think they should be teachers. I don't think you should ever lock kids in a room and be like, you can't go to lunch until someone admits this and then start yelling at people. Like that doesn't make you a good teacher. I don't think you should be a teacher. You'd make a good bad teacher, but like not a good teacher. Don't be a teacher. If that's what you want to do, is just like have some power trip and yell at kids and prevent them from like learning so you can yell at them about something. Don't be a teacher. So now we are on to interviewing an American. I don't know why Sky News Australia hasn't talked about Australia a single time so far.
When conservatives in the United States, especially here in Florida, are talking about parental rights, we talk about parents' rights, what we are talking about is the right of a parent to know what is going on in your child's day-to-day life when you send that child off to school.
Are they using Skype? I didn't even know Skype still existed. They're using Skype? Sorry, that's so unimportant, but I didn't think anyone still used Skype. But that's the Skype symbol up in that corner, right?
What is increasingly happening in American schools is you have these woke social justice activists who are encouraging the so-called transition of children at schools and then telling them to hide it from their parents.
That is not what's happening. Oh my God, how many times do we have to say this? People are not encouraging kids to transition at school. What is happening is that kids who want to transition don't feel safe doing so at home, but they feel safe at school. They want to socially transition. They want their friends to correctly gender them. They want to be authentic to themselves and live their life authentically, but they don't feel safe doing that at home. So their schools are like, we will not tell your parents if that makes you feel safe. Trans girls will be boys at home because they aren't safe expressing their femininity at home. They aren't safe being a girl at home because it will cause, some sort of outlash from their parents. They don't feel safe there. However, they do feel safe with their friends. They feel safe with their teachers. And so their teachers will give them a space and are like, you can exist as a girl here. You can be yourself. We will call you whatever name you want. We will use the pronouns that you want. You can get changed here and then get changed back into your other clothes before you go home. And we will support you in this journey and whatever you choose to do. We want you to be safe. We want you to be happy. Because a child is honestly also going to learn more if they are more comfortable in themselves. If they are in a better state mentally, they are also going to be more able to consume information, enjoy the social aspect of school, be able to learn more. It's ultimately just much better for them to be happy at school than it is to be miserable constantly. And a kid isn't going to come out to their friends at school and their teachers and such if it means that their parents are going to be told because they don't feel safe at home. They are still trans, whether they tell their parents or not. School is not encouraging that. School is allowing them to feel safe. They're not trans because the school told them to be. They're trans and the school supports them and is helping them to feel safe in the best way that they can. That's literally it.
So that is the whole crux of the parental rights, is to know what their teachers are saying to the children, know what the teachers are teaching or instilling or indoctrinating on the children.
Learning that queerness exists and that gay people exist, I don't understand why that's such a problem. Gay people exist. Shocker. Oh my God. If you exist in the real world, even without TV and media and shit, you know that gay people exist, or you're going to find out one day. It's better to know so that, you don't think it's weird and you don't judge people and you don't bully people. Because kids don't like things that are abnormal. So if you tell them something is abnormal, when something appears abnormal, they're going to make fun of it, and that hurts people. So if you tell kids that things are normal, then they're more accepting to it. The second you start telling kids things aren't normal, the second that they start hating those things, and then people are negatively impacted.
I agree that the Bible is clear. Genesis 1:27, the last time I read it, very clearly said we are all made in the image of God. In his image, man and woman were created. So sexual dimorphism, that there are male and female sexes, is not merely an easily observable empirical reality. It is also right there in the Bible. So
I'm not a religious person, so using the Bible to state facts and evidence has never made sense to me. But also, it says right there in the Bible that there are men and women. I'm like, okay, but there is also intersex people, and they already exist, and that's not in the Bible. So you then telling me that they don't exist either? Even if you want to go purely based on biology, are you saying that because it didn't mention intersex people in the Bible, they just don't exist? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because 1% of people are intersex. It's a lot of people.
And you're so right about what you mentioned there about the social contagion. We've just talking about the CDC putting out some data. Number of LGBTQ students or students identifying as LGBTQ jumped from 11% in 2015 to 26% in 2021. So to pretend that this phenomenon isn't happening is just pure ignorance.
Someone crack out the left-handed graph. We got to bring it out again. Every single day they ask for it. It's like they've never fucking looked at it. It's in the replies to every single one of your tweets, and no one has ever acknowledged it. No one likes to look at it. Everyone's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's just what happens when things start to become more accepted. More people are open about it. And like, COVID lockdown was a massive time for self-discovery. People had time for the first time in their lives, for the first time in like decades. People had time. People were able to do inner reflection and growth and self-realization. And there was a lot of, we were all talking online. There was a lot of breaking boundaries and self-discovery and all of that was happening. And people were able to get in touch with more of themselves and have bigger conversations without the interference of bigoted adults, So like a lot more young people were figuring themselves out. That's when I started identifying with the word queer, was during lockdown. I had never identified with a term before. I was in a long-term relationship with another woman, and I didn't call myself queer. I didn't use a word at all. I was just like, I am a woman and I am in a relationship with a woman. That was it. I didn't use a word. I'd never thought about it. I'd never internalized it. I'd never really mattered to me, and it still doesn't particularly matter to me. But it wasn't until during lockdown when I started, seeing more of the community and understanding it more and feeling more a part of it and realizing my queerness is a part of who I am, and like there are some struggles and some things that like straight people just don't understand and will never understand. And like, it helped me to do a lot of self-realization, and it helped me to feel a part of a community. And I really like being a part of this community, It's like a lot of people were able to be exposed to that and were able to do a lot more soul searching and figuring themselves out and understanding that and coming to terms with that, because they were able to get away from the outside pressures that were, from their peers and from their parents and from surrounding adults and from bigoted teachers, etc. They were able to separate themselves from that and were just with themselves, So obviously the number of queer students went up because people have allowed themselves to look inside themselves and have had the ability and time to do so for the first time like ever.
And you know what? The media has been the joke of Joe Biden's not so funny jokes for a number of years now. Go back to the 2020 presidential campaign. I mean, did Joe Biden get out there in Iowa, New Hampshire? Did he get out there in the swing states like Pennsylvania, Arizona? No. He was literally campaigning for the White House from his basement in Wilmington, Delaware.
I wonder why in 2020, Joe Biden, an old man, was campaigning for presidency from inside his basement and not going into crowded areas with thousands of people and traveling across the country. I wonder what possibly could be the reason for that.
Every time an enterprising young right-of-center journalist would raise these very legitimate, very real questions, someone on the left in kind of the Biden sycophancy crowd would immediately shout up, oh, what is wrong with you? This is the middle of a deadly pandemic. He's well into his 70s. He can't expose it.
I mean, yeah. And those are all very valid reasons. Are you trying to be like, they came up with these bad excuses? Like, how dare he? What? He was following the fucking rules, man. Which is what presidents should do. They shouldn't break the laws that they set out, He wants to, like, follow the law, because if you are a leader who is breaking the rules that are set, it just shows that you don't give a fuck about the rules that you created and you just want to control other people. Like Boris Johnson having his fucking party during lockdowns, right? Everyone was so pissed because he was breaking the COVID rules that he set because he thought he was above them. Joe Biden was following the rules because he's one of the people, I'm not a Biden fan. I don't like anyone. I don't like most politicians. Not breaking the COVID rules is probably a good way to start, because by breaking them, you're showing that you think you're better than everyone else, and that's not a good look. That was Sky News Australia. Not a single thing in there was at all even remotely newsworthy. Nothing had any substance at all. It was a lot of contradictions and too much Australian. And then American. Just want me to suffer. Anyway, Yeah, that was fun. What a jolly good time. I will never be doing that again, actually. Unless they, maybe I will. I love sitting here and listening to Australian bigots speak and then interviewing Americans about American presidency for no relevant reason to Australian news. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you would like me to watch more Sky News Australia and subject myself to this. I hope that you enjoyed the video. A massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. And a huge, huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons. Toulouse, Bobby, Josh, Mandy, Robbie, Ikazel, Jessica, Eldo, Ida, Queer Corey, Raven, Danielle, Elias, Evie, Nyx of the Eternal Night, Rin, Jewel, Sparrow, Apollo, Taylor is Trying, and Matto. I appreciate you all so, so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos a day early, as well as podcasts a week early. And then for £3 and up, you get things such as bonus mini podcasts, outtakes, live streams, and more. I appreciate it so, so much. Anything helps. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, on Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.